Would you please introduce yourself, your name, and when you're born and where you're born?
Okay, my name is Lawrence Kelton Hafen, and I was born here in St. George, Utah. I lived here all my life except for the time I spent in the Army. And I was born on the 16th of May, 1932.
All right, so what school did you go through here?
We had the St. George Elementary that was brand new when I started school. We went through the 6th grade there, and then we went to what was called Woodward Junior High. We had 4 years there, the 7th through the 10th. And then we went to Dixie High School and Dixie College. They were kind of combined. And so I had 2 years of high school at Dixie and 2 years of junior college.
Oh, that's a very interesting combination.
It's a different combination than most people go through. Back in those days, there were around 90 to 100 kids in each class in St. George.
Uh-huh.
And now we've got more people attending Dixie College than we had citizens of the town when I was growing up. It's a big change in this area.
What did you study in junior college?
Just general education. I didn't study anything special. Growing up, my interests were in agriculture and ranching. Our family had a tire store that I knew I was going to work into when I got through with my service, so I didn't study any special.
But you were college students.
I was a college student, and I graduated from 2 years of junior college, which...
When was it?
This would have been from 50 to 52.
From junior college from 50 to 52?
Yes.
So you knew that there was a Korean War broke out at the time?
Oh, yes, you bet.
How did you come to know of it?
Oh, well, it was just common knowledge. We all knew that sooner or later we'd probably be drafted. The fact that I had 2 years of college helped me a lot in the Army, and I can explain that later, but, well, I would say when I went in the Army, I was the only one that had a college degree out of my outfit, so I got promoted to supply sergeant real fast, which is unusual.
Mm-hmm.
I got to be a sergeant first class when most people that are in the Army for only a couple of years don't get past corporal usually.
So when did you enlist?
When did I go to the
Army.
service? I went on the 20th of October in 53.
To Army?
Yes, infantry. I was in the infantry. I went to Fort Ord, California, took 18 weeks of training, and then was shipped directly to Korea from there.
Mm-hmm. So you actually went to Korea after the war?
Oh, no. I got there on the 20th of April in 53, and it was, 20th of July in 53 when the war was over. I was on the front line for three months before the war was over.
So you enlisted the Army in 1952?
I didn't actually enlist. I was drafted.
You were drafted, and that was 1952, right?
Okay, I guess it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So then You had 18 weeks of boot camp military training, and then you went to Korea in April of 1953.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
So tell me about how did you go to Korea?
Well, we had a big troop ship. It was called USS Meigs, and it was really crowded with people. It took us a month to get to Japan. We stopped at Camp Drake for about 3 days, and then went right to Incheon and got off the ship there and went directly to the front line. We didn't stop anywhere between Incheon and the front line.
And where did you go?
Well,
Was it?
I was in the 45th Infantry Regiment. They were Oklahoma National Guard unit that had been there for a long time. All of the old original people of the unit had rotated home. But so I went, and shortly after the ceasefire, they sent that unit home, and so I was transferred to artillery battalion.
My question was, where did you go from Incheon to?
Oh, okay.
Was it
From Incheon, we went to. We were just on the 38th parallel at that time was one trench or bunkers the full length of Korea, and so we went up there. We were located just to the left of Heartbreak Ridge.
Oh, okay.
Overlooking what they called Mungdungni Valley.
So how was situation at around April 1953 in Heartbreak Ridge?
Well, like I say, there was the full length of Korea. They had trenches with bunkers in them, and so we would stay there. During the day, everybody would stay inside. At night, sometimes they would send us out on patrol. We got to go out several times, but it seems like the enemy wasn't any more interested in having contact with us than we were, so we had little skirmishes, but they didn't amount to much. The thing I remember about that was quite a hilly country. They're pretty good-sized mountains, and the thing I remember most about it was all the trees and the vegetation and everything else had just been blown apart. There was nothing left of the landscape.
So there were not many severe battles going around at the time?
Not really, no. Just like I say, if we went on patrol and encountered the enemy, we'd have a little skirmish, a little fighting, and then both outfits would go home. We only had, in the 3 months that I was on the front line, we only had 2 casualties in our outfit. And both of those were during the day when people would get out where they could be seen. And, of course, the enemy had this zeroed in, so if they could see you out, they'd shoot at you. But if you stayed in your bunker, you were okay.
So it wasn't too much dangerous at the time?
I never felt like I was in that much danger during that length of time.
What was the most difficult thing for you to be in Korea at the time?
Well, I guess being away from home. I had a nephew that was just a little bit younger than me, was killed in a truck accident here. And when I got that word, that was a little difficult for me. But just, I never did feel like I was in real danger in the fighting like the people that had been there previous to me.
Mm-hmm. How was the living condition at the time?
Well, everything was, we got, like I say, was okay. We lived in bunkers, and so we would sleep mostly during the day and be on guard at night. But as far as we were never uncomfortable. The conditions for us were pretty good. Being on the front lines in a war, I think, would be considered very good.
What kind of food did you eat?
Well, the regular GI rations, they're for the most part, we enjoyed the food.
C ration?
We didn't eat the canned rations. No, we had cooks that took care of us on the front line.
Korean cook or American cook?
Actually, what we had Americans, but we did have some Koreans that were members of the Royal Korean Army.
Yeah.
Were attached to us.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them worked in the kitchen, and there were three of the fellows that I lived directly with that I got very, very well attached to. Really nice guys, and we had a lot of fun trying to communicate. And
tell me about those Korean people. How old they and what name?
Well, the one little fellow, we called him Willie.
Willie?
But his name was Kum Sok-yan.
Kum Sok-hyun.
Uh-huh. And then there was another one named Lee Jin-koo,
Mm-hmm.
and one named Jo Bok-kil.
Jo
Bok-kil.
Oh.
Maybe I don't pronounce them right. I don't know, but that's.
So they used to work with you and
yeah, we lived right together.
Together in the bunker.
And
what was their mission?
Well, they were just attached to us as the Korean Army and the American Army working together. Very, very pleasant people. I really had a lot of fun and enjoyed visiting with them, and like I say, trying to communicate. Willie, that I called him, taught me the Korean song #1, Aridong, and I've sang it a few times over the years. Whether I sing it right or not, I don't know, but it was interesting that he took the time to try to teach me that song.
Can you sing for me now?
Well, I don't have a very good voice, but I could try.
Yes.
And when we get through, you tell me how close I was to being right. Aridong, aridong, adadeo, aridong kogedo, namaganda, narapa, digoka, shinanima, simni domokasa, papnaganda.
Whoa! A+. A+. You can go to Dixie State University again.
But
very good, very good.
I asked him what the song meant, and he kind of indicated that if a man left his wife before he got over the hill, his feet would get E-tied. That's kind of what he told me, the way I remember it.
Very, very good. Any other anecdotes, any story with those 3 Korean soldiers?
The only thing I try to stress is that they were some of the nicest and politest people that I had ever met, and they tried in every way to be kind and graceful, the same as the Korean people have for us since we've come home. I can't think of anybody in the whole world that has had more love and respect and shown more appreciation than the Korean government has had.
How did you know? You've never been back to Korea, right?
No, I haven't been back, but they've been here. And I've been to 2 or 3 programs that they've put on. So I've been able to. And those people that were in the Vietnam War,
Yeah.
People thought they weren't doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had people ask me how I felt about being in the Korean War, and I would tell them, look at North Korea and look at South Korea. For 60 years, the difference those 2 countries have made. I feel like going to Korea was one of the best things I could have done to help my fellow man.
Very nice point. But you came to defense of Korean people. That's why we were able to accomplish economic development and democratization.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think it's just natural for us to say back to you, thank you, isn't it?
Well, it is, but the French people are quite happy with the Americans during World War II, but they've never shown their appreciation like the Korean people have. At least that's the way it appears to me.
Okay. What was the happiest moment during your service?
Well, let me just finish up. Like I say, I was there about 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
and they sent us back behind lines for a few days, and then moved us to another area called Outpost, Texas.
In
In
Korea.
Korea.
Yeah.
And I was there about 10 days before the ceasefire.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing I remember mostly
Mm-hmm.
about those 10 days, when both sides knew that the war was going to be over and that they were going to go home, the first thing they did was to fire all their ammunition and get rid of it. So for a week there, it was almost continual shelling back and forth. And I don't remember much about anybody, being killed during that last week, but it was just continual shelling until everybody ran out of ammunition. The interesting thing to me was as soon as the ceasefire took effect, you could look out over the valley out in front of you, and you had people coming out. It looked almost like gophers climbing out of little holes all through there. Had no idea that we had that many people out there in front of us. And then when they came, they came and marched right through our camp on their way out. So, yeah, I think if you asked me what the greatest joy was, it would have been when I was home. On my way home, coming under the Golden Gate Bridge, realizing that I was back home. That would be, but it was interesting to me because I went from Incheon to the front lines, and then we were back behind the line a little ways, and I was there for a full year, and I don't remember doing too much other than just being there. I never went to any villages. I never went to any cities. I was just from the front line to behind and then back to Incheon and on the ship and home. So a lot of people have experiences in some of the cities. I know I've talked to some of them that were in Seoul and different places. But I never had any interaction with the Korean people except for those 3 fellows that was in our outfit. So if everybody in Korea was as nice as they were, I had a great respect for the Korean people.
You're too nice. You're too nice. Tell me about the soft side of your service there. How much were you paid?
I think to start with, I was paid about $89 a month. Mm-hmm. Because the 45th Infantry Regiment, everybody was leaving except for those of us that were there. I got rank awfully fast. I got to be corporal just before the ceasefire. Then they made me supply sergeant, so I got to be sergeant, and then a few weeks later I got to be sergeant first class, which is usually never happens, but they happen to need rank at the time. So, and like I said, the fact that I was the only one that had any college education, I got to be the supply sergeant, which I had no training for. But
did you write letters back to your family?
Yes.
What did you write and how often?
Oh, we'd write every week. I had my girlfriend, Peggy, the girl that I married, we wrote every week at least, and I wrote to my folks every week, and a little bit to some of my other friends that were in the Army and other places. Just basically how things were going and what was happening. It's been 60 years now, so it's hard to remember a lot of it. But
do you still keep those letters?
I have some. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Huh. Would you be willing to share that with us?
I should have got them out and looked them over a little bit, I guess.
Yeah. Look over it, and if there are some lines that you don't want to share with others, just erase it or, mark it. And as you see it, I gave you my business card, right? Could you look at the back of it?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yes. What do you see there?
Well, it looks like the map of Korea.
Yes. And those are the memorabilia, the pictures that Korean War veterans took. And I have lectures in the background.
Uh-huh.
And the letters, So if you have any memorabilia or the letters that you want to share with us, you can send that to me. You can send to Sonny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to expose your privacy, but if you do not share that with us, then there will be no way for our younger generations to know what happened to an American soldier in 1953, one from Salt Lake City. and what kind of situation that you were in and things like that.
Uh-huh.
So,
I'll tell you one incident that happened.
yes.
I guess the closest I came to being killed while I was there was a soldier from New York. He was in my mind, just a little bit of a ding-a-ling.
What is that?
Oh, kind of about half nuts.
Okay.
And somehow we had a Thompson submachine gun there, which was not legal. It wasn't supposed to be there, but he had it. And it was taken apart. He put the thing back together and got ammunition in it and was fooling with it and pulled the trigger, and about 10 rounds came right to the side of my head. While,
oh, jeez.
Which, and I say my own men were probably closest to getting me killed as anybody there.
So what did you do with him?
Well, we
Did you
didn't
punch
do
him?
anything. I didn't, no.
You should have punched him.
Should have done.
Give him a lesson, okay? So what did you do after you come back from Korea?
Okay, I knew that the family had a tire business here in St. George.
Oh.
And I knew that I was going to work into that. Also, Peggy and I were corresponding and were planning on getting married as soon as I got out of the service. So I got back from Korea and they sent me to Fort Lewis, Washington for a few months to get my 2 years in the service. Mm-hmm. And so after I got home, I got home the 20th and I was married on the 2nd of November, so I was only about 12 days out of the service when I got married. And
what do you think is the impact of your service upon your life?
I'm very glad that I went. You don't want to do it again. But I feel like that I did the honorable thing and was of service to not only my country but to Korea as well. And I've been proud to say that I'm a Korean War vet.
And how did it affect your private life?
It didn't affect me in any derogatory way. I never had, I didn't pick up any bad habits or have any problems while I was in the service. Like I say, I was pretty well isolated from everybody. We had some guys in our outfit that would go out on weekends and get hooked up with the musumes and get some venereal disease and things like that. But that isn't anything that I had any problem with whatsoever.
You behaved it.
I did, and I'm happy to say so, yes.
Good man. Huh?
So anyway, I would say my service in Korea would have been a benefit to me as far as my outlook on life. I got to see a part of the world, and I got to see what war can do to people and places, and so I've had absolutely no ill effect from it.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is the legacy of Korean War and Korean War veterans?
I don't know just how to say that. I went in the service with 9 fellows from here. We all went in together, went through basic training together, and a lot of us went overseas together, but none of us were together during the war. But
all of them to Korea?
Yeah. And every one of them that I've talked to feel real good about the fact that they were in the service and were able to help.
Any other message that you want to leave to this interview?
Well, I guess I pretty well said it. My experience with the Korean people has been nothing but good, and I feel like I've been of some help to society in general. I just feel so bad for the citizens of North Korea, and what they've had to live under for the last 60 years, and compared to what's happened to South Korea, it's just as different as night and day.
You said that you were planning to go back to Korea, right?
We're looking at it. I've had some knee surgery, and I'm having some complications with my health right now, and I've got to decide in the next few days whether I'm going or not. I would really like to, but I'm not sure yet whether I'll be able to or not.
I hope you can make it.
Yeah. Sonny tried to get me to go, 2 or 3 years ago, and I should have gone then and didn't. But
bad man.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't think of anything else that I ought to say.
If you go, what do you expect to see in Korea?
Well, the thing, if I go, I expect to see more of the cities and the changes in the cities. I don't expect to get to the front lines where I spend all my time. I don't expect to see any of Korea that I actually saw while I was there. But I expect that they're going to be just as gracious and nice to me as anybody could be, and treat me like I was somebody special.
You are a very nice man. You are a very nice man. I want to thank you for your genuine recognition of the Korean people's, the accomplishment and their hospitality to the American soldiers. But that's, I think, is obvious and natural. And I want to thank you for your fight for Korean nation and Korean country.
Well, you're more than welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now, do you remember